Hey guys, it's Surgeon here, and welcome to my Zaya overview guide. In this guide, I'm just going to be talking about each of the Zaya houses and talking about what kind of benefits you can have in each of the houses, as well as how to get there. So if you're looking for a house to start off with, this will kind of give you a good idea as to what benefits you can expect to receive from each house at certain favor thresholds. If you guys do enjoy this video, go ahead and give it a like. If you want to see more content or my Zaya guides when they come out, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And if you want to give me any feedback, you can go ahead and leave that in the comment section below. Also in the description, we'll have my Discord, my CC, and the link to my Twitch, as well as my Twitter if you're into that kind of stuff as well. And with that all being said, I'm going to cut this off and let's jump into the guide, start talking about the Archaeus house. Side note as well, I forgot to mention this anywhere in the guide. Make sure that before you start grinding for favor in any of these houses, do the Client of Karen quest and use it on Piscarilius. Just saying. Let's start with the Archaeus house. How do we get there? Well, you can use the teleport to Corinth after you unlock it in the Archaeus library. You can use the Fairgreen Code CIS after you pay 80k to Trassa in the Archaeus house in order to be able to use it. You can use the Xerix Talisman teleport. You can use the Zaya Minecart network, or you can just run from the boat from Port Sarim that drops you off initially when you first visit Zaya. Now, Archaeus is kind of known as like the magic-oriented house of Zaya. One of the main unlocks that you're going to get from them is you get the ability to unlock the Archaeus spellbook, which allows you to reanimate ensouled heads, which is kind of like a GP-efficient way to train prayer. So that's going to be one of the big things out there, and you unlock that at 60%. At 20%, you have access to the Archaeus Rune Shop, which isn't really that big for main accounts, but I guess if you're an Iron Man, it might be better than trying to get some of your other rune buying methods, so that might be something for you to look into. But finally, at 100%, you get the ability to craft blood runes at 77 rune crafting and soul runes at 99 rune crafting. This offers you some of the best rates in the game, next to lavas, but the upside to these is that they're slightly more AFK than doing lavas, so there's that as well. You get the ability to create Archaeus teleport tablets as well, so you get to have the ability to create things like Barrows teleports, Harmony Island teleports, things like that. And you also have the ability to obtain an Archaeus signet in order to build a dark altar in your player-owned house, which allows you to switch over to the Archaeus spellbook at any point in time when you have 80 construction. This is also the same signet that you'll use when you go to build your occult altar at level 90 construction as well. Another popular house we'll talk about is the Hasidius house. How do we get there? You can use a Xerix Talisman teleport to the Glade. You can use a Spirit Tree teleport if you have a Spirit Tree planted here. You can also teleport to house if your house is actually in Corinth. There's a house portal here. You can run from the boat from Port Sarim, or you can run from the boat from Land's End, or you can use a Tide Farm minigame teleport after you enter Tide Farm. Now, like I said, Hasidius is another kind of popular house, and the reason for that is at 50%, there's an allotment, herb, and flower patch in Zaya, and it won't get disease. So it acts kind of like the herb patch from Irem's Big Adventure, except instead of just an herb patch, it's the entire farming patch. Also at 35%, you have the ability to plant a spirit tree in Zaya, so that's another way to transport to Zaya. At 65%, you get the ability to plant grapes at the grapevines. 75%. With 60 woodcutting, you'll have the ability to enter the woodcutting guild. Also, something else to mention is that you can teleport here with the skills necklace to the woodcutting guild, which is another quick teleport to the Hasidius house. Finally, at 100%, you get two things. One, you get the ability to play the Tithe Farm minigame, which you can use to unlock the farmer's outfit for an XP boost in farming. You also get the ability to use the city's kitchen, which is one of the best places to cook. It increases the percent chance of you actually successfully cooking food by 5%. So until you get your cooking cape, which allows you to never burn food again, this is probably where you're going to be spending most of your time cooking. I know it's where I did because I'm still 90 cooking, and you still burn things until you have that cooking cape on. Alright, time to talk about the Lovacane house. How do we get there? You can use a Xerix Talisman teleport to the Inferno. You can use a Games Necklace to Wintertodt and run south, or you can use the Fairgreen Teleport DJR to teleport you to the Chasm of Fire and then run north from there. If you have the Minecart network unlocked, you can also use that, but if you're trying to get to Lovacane for the first time, you probably don't have that unlocked, considering you need favor to actually use that. So what do we get from doing the Lovacane house? Well, at 15%, you get access to the Dynamite store, which is how you're going to actually buy your dynamite if you're an Iron Man. If you're a main account, do not buy from this store. It is way overpriced for what you can actually buy on the GE. So if you're an Iron Man, that's how you're going to get your dynamite. If not, buy it on the GE. For the love of God, don't buy it here. 65%, you get access to the Lovacane Minecart network, which is actually very nice. It's a very handy way to move around all of Zaya It costs 10 GP per travel, and it actually gives you quite a bit of favor when you're actually trying to get to 100%. So the minecart network is actually very nice from the Luvacane house, but more importantly, at 100%, you get access to the blast mine. It's kind of a moderately good way to train mining. At the same time, you're going to make a good amount of money from it as well. So it's kind of a middle ground in between motherlode mining and granite mining. It's slower than granite mining, but it's obviously faster than motherlode mining, and your money, you're actually going to make quite a bit of money from doing it. I think it rivals about the same as motherlode mining. Obviously, compared to granite where you wouldn't make anything, this is probably how most people are going to train. It is a little bit click intensive, much more click intensive than motherlode mine, but you do get rewarded by the amount of money that you make and the experience per hour that you get. The Piscarilius house, usually people's least favorite house because of how long it takes to get to 100% favor. But how do we get here? Use the boat from Port Sarim to Zeah. The first way that you get here to actually get to Zeah in the first place is probably going to be the normal way you're going to get to this house. If you're already on Zeah, you can use the Zeah minecart network. But to be honest, you should probably just use the boat from Port Sarim to get to the Piscarilius house. What do we get from the Piscarilius house, though? At 20%, you get access to a food shop. It's pretty irrelevant. There's nothing really of use in there, at least from what I could see. 75%, you get the ability to steal artifacts in Piscarilius. They give kind of moderate thieving experience, but to be honest, you could do Knights of Ardi, you could do Pyramid Plunder, you could do Blackjacking. There's a lot of other things you could do for thieving experience, so it's kind of irrelevant as well. At 100%, you get the ability to catch anglerfish with 82 fishing. For Iron Man, this is pretty good because it's going to be one of the best ways for you to get some of the best fish in the game. But the catch rate is about as slow as sharks, or old sharks, not as fast as minnows, so the catch rate is actually very slow. Ideally, there's not a whole lot of good stuff that you actually get from the Piscarilius house. However, if you are going for 100% favor in all houses, which I'd recommend you do in order to unlock the Xerix Heart teleport on the Xerix Talisman, then you will have to go through and do all of these. I'd recommend that you use the extra favor that you get from the Client of Kourend on this house because of how slow it is. And also, it should go without saying, but you should do Client of Kourend before going for any of these houses for the double the favor rate. So the Shazian house, the last one, how do we get here? You can use the Xerix Talisman to the Xerix Lookout. You can use the Fairy Ring code DJR to teleport here. You can use the Zeah minecart network to also get here. Or you can teleport to the house in Kourend. It's basically right across the pond, right across the river. So if you just use that teleport, you can run from the house portal to the east or to the west and basically be in the Shazian house. Or you can run from the Land's End boat straight north basically, and it'll put you right in the Shazian house. So what are some perks from the Shazian house? At 5%, you get the ability to kill normal lizardmen. This is how you're going to get your Xerix Talisman. At 5%, you should go and kill lizardmen. This is like one of the first things you should do. It's going to increase your ease of transportation across all of Zeah. Get your Xerix Talisman as soon as possible. At 5%, go and start killing normal lizardmen. At 20%, you'll get the access to a weapon and armor shop. Obviously not that relevant considering who actually buys stuff at weapon and armor shops. At 60%, 70%, 80%, 90%, and 100% respectively, you get access to tier 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 Shazian armor. This is used to kill lizardmen shamans. I personally have never done this, but I do know that the Shazian armor gives you some benefits when you actually kill the lizardmen shamans to make the killing easier. Finally, at 100%, you get the ability to kill the lizardmen shamans for a chance of the Dragon Warhammer drop. This is a very rare drop, and most Iron Men covet this drop as it's a very useful drop for PvM. But if you're a main account, this is like a good 30 or 40 mil drop that you can get by killing the lizardmen shamans. Obviously, it's very rare, and a lot of the other drops aren't that great. But if you're in the mood to camp something for, a very, very rare chance at something, this is something to actually grind for. Thanks to an update a little while ago, you actually get the ability to recolor your Graceful in Zeah. Now, this requires 90 marks of grace in order to recolor the entire set. And the way that you recolor it is by getting 100% in respective houses. Now, I have all 6 recolors up on the screen. Now, you may be saying, Surgeon, there's only 5 houses in Zeah. How do you get the 6th one? Well, you get a special one, or you get the ability to use a special one once you get 100% favor in all the houses. So I'm going to go through this in order. The purple one is when you have Arceus at 100%. The light blue is when you have Piscarilius. The yellow one is when you have Luvacane. Red is when you have Shazian. Green is when you have Hesidius. And obviously the full white and black is when you have all 5 of them at 100%. Now again, this requires 90 marks of grace in order to recolor it. So it's really up to you if you want to do it. It's obviously nice to kind of make it more fashionscape, to make it go with other outfits. But this is purely cosmetic, and it's something else I'd like to throw in there, considering there's probably some of you running around wondering how people actually recolor the Graceful. This is how you do it. You hit 100% in the house, and then you go talk to Austin in the Shazian house in the Great Kourend. and he'll actually recolor it for you for 90 marks of grace. So that is how you recolor it. That's how you get it looking all nice and swag. If you want to do it, that's all you got to do. Alright guys, that's going to do it for my Zaya overview video. I hope you guys found this video useful, and hopefully it showed you guys a little bit about what each house in Zaya is about and some of the rewards you can get from each Zaya house. Hopefully this kind of gives you guys an idea as to what Zaya house you want to complete first. I think for myself, to be honest, if I were to go through it in an order, I would definitely do either Shazian. I would do Shazian first, at least until I got the Xerix Talisman, just to help with teleportation around Zaya. And then from that point, I'd probably do either Arceus or Hosidius. Probably Hosidius just for the fact that you get a protected farming patch in general, or Arceus so you get access to the Arceus spellbook. So that would be my opinion. I would do Piscarillius last. There's really no benefit to doing that. Doing the Lovicane house is kind of nice, at least getting it to 65% so you can use the mine carts to get around Zaya a little bit easier. But I think if I were to go for a hard set order, it would be Shazian until I got my Xerix Talisman, then Hosidius, Arceus, Shazian, Lovicane, and then finish off with Piscarillius. To be honest, there's not a whole lot really in that Piscarillius house, so that's why I would do it last. Other than that, my CC, Discord, and Twitch are all in the description. Hope you guys found it useful. If you want to leave a like, go ahead and do that. If you want to subscribe, go ahead and do that. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.